Thanks to everyone who have subscribed. If you have not, please do. And thanks for coming out here. I really appreciate you.
Finally, APC agrees that the Supreme made a mistake in sacking Ihedioha. Since the People Democratic Party (PDP) signaled its intention to seek a reversal, and review of the January 14, 2020 misjudgment by the Supreme Court on 2019 in Imo State governorship election, the illegitimate benefactor of the misjudgment, Senator Hope Uzodinma, and All Progressive Congress (APC) were making a big music out of the idea that once the Supreme Court delivers judgment, nothing on earth or in heaven can make the Supreme Court revisit, review, and reverse its judgment. That was before the Supreme Court judgment on the appeal by the APC, the judgment of the High Court and the Court of Appeal that disqualified the deputy governor candidate of the APC in November 2019 election in Bayelsa State. DG Ihedioha, resulting in the disqualification of the governor-elect David Leonard. That judgment by the Supreme Court saw a sharp twist in faith as the PDP was returned as its eventual winner of the election, earlier won by the APC in political question. That was a major loss by APC and its candidates. Hence, they protested and kicked against it. The Supreme Court judgment was on Thursday, February 13, to the surprise of concerned members of the public that have observed the trend in the controversial and continuous judgment by the Supreme Court on the Imo appeal, and APC have filed an application for the review of the judgment on the Bayelsa appeal. That was barely few days after the disqualification of Deji Eromoyo and by association David Leonard. Many still can't believe that APC could seek a review of a judgment by the Supreme Court. It was a hypocritical turn of events. How could APC, that has a few days previously agreed that against review, be appreciated and welcomed by the Supreme Court, praying for a revisit, review, reversal, its February 13 judgment on Bayelsa State? That was incidentally left some implication for the January 14 misjudgment by the Supreme Court on the Imo appeal. First, APC seems to have turned in the towel in its fight against Supreme Court revisit, review, and reversal of its concluded judgment. That implies that the APC has consigned all its tremendous position and now sees reasons that the Supreme Court justice are human beings and are capable for making mistakes and error in which they can be corrected. 2. The APC application for the review of the Bayelsa judgment was indicated that APC have faith, trust, and confidence in the Supreme Court to deliver judgment in situations where the party may see misjudgment and not judgment, injustice, and not justice. 3. It is no longer an issue as an APC tended to drive in the early days of the PDP candidate for the sitting aside of the misjudgment of January 14th that election matter must be conclusively heard within 60 days, after which it can never be revisited. In a six-point summary, subjection, and defense of the PDP application for the sitting aside the January 14 misjudgment, the APC stated as follows: Summary of Senator Hope Uzodinma, primarily objection and defense against the application for judgment review by Honorable Emeka Ihedioha. 1. Order 8, Rule 16 of the Supreme Court, Rules 2014, prohibits this Honorable Court from reviewing its judgment once given and delivered, save to correct critical mistakes or accidental slides. That is to say that Supreme Court can review its judgment, but only on issues that do not touch on the judgment and that it's applicable to civilian judgment. 2. The Supreme Court has discharged the button placed on it by law in Section 285 of the 1999 Constitution and Electoral Act within the 60 days speculated by the law for the court to conclude election matters. This constitutional bond, which has been undertaken by the court, cannot be changed as the matter has become stale and irrelevant. In other words, by reviewing of Section 285(9), the Nigerian Constitution, the Supreme Court in the country, Honorable Emeka Ihedioha, matter under any guest or name has become statutory burden, lifeless and dead on arrival, having spent the maximum 60 days allowed by law in the court. 3. When the Supreme Court has given its verdict and it has been executed by way of swearing in the executive governor of a state, the only way to vacate his decision is through an election petition, which will no longer be possible in this case. 4. Fact rises in the review are faced that issues are joined and decided during the pending of the election petition, inviting the Supreme Court to take a look at this fact again as asking the court to reopen the case, which is not tenable at this time. From the foregoing, it becomes very significant that soon after its so-called point of objection and defense, the APC made a swing detour and recent few days after a sing indifferent turn that ran controversially in its original stand. Certainly, this must be the most irrelevant moment in the amends of the procurement of election and post-election petition and appeal in Nigeria, nay the Supreme Court, since 1999. It's been so exponential and important, yet still counting. There is no doubt that by the time the Supreme Court finishes with the 2019 election and appeal, a new chapter will have been written in the book of democracy and judiciary in the Nigerian law. Well, this is all given the facts regarding the Supreme Court judgment of Ihedioha and Uzodinma regarding the election and the court's decision to sack Ihedioha from office. The Supreme Court have agreed that they made a mistake and have agreed to go ahead and revisit that issue, look at what went wrong, where they would have made a mistake. Remember that the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land, and for them to revisit an issue, it states that they feel that they might have left some details out. PDP is seriously calling for the review of that decision because they have facts to prove that the court made mistakes and the issue should be revisited. So that's why the court will be looking at the issue again so that the issue regarding Imo State can be corrected. APC wants to have a house in the southeast. They've lost Bayelsa State, which they thought they had, and now they are clamoring for the southeast. So that issue is still on ground, still pending. The case has been stipulated for March the 2nd to look into this issue and so that they can really see if their decision was right. But Nigerians, I want to hear what your thoughts are on this matter. I want to know what you think about the Ihedioha and Ozidima case. What do you think? What are your thoughts? I think the Supreme Court should look at this matter critically. You know, they should look at it, go back to the books and see where they've gone wrong and make sure whatever the correct thing is, they should implement. Thanks for listening. God bless. Have a good day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Click on the notification button so you can get all our latest news. God bless. Have a good day. Bye.